In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to set up parameters for drawer boxes, which are new in the latest version of CabWriter. Up till now, we've only drawn the drawer fronts and not the boxes themselves. So one thing you'll notice over here is we've changed the layer names. It used to be just base drawers, but now it's base drawer fronts and base drawer boxes. So if I turn off the base drawer fronts, you'll see on this cabinet over here that we now have drawer boxes. They're actually just representations of drawer boxes. They're not drawn part for part. They just represent the height, width, and depth of the drawer boxes. And that's so that we can get this information onto the cut list for if you're ordering drawers. You'll be able to get a drawer schedule very quickly and easily from the model. So let's go through and draw another cabinet, but first I want to show you the parameters and how to set them so that your drawer boxes come out correctly. So if we go up here and edit our settings, go to the drawer tab, you'll notice all this information down here. So first we have the general drawer box information. So this would be the top clearance, how much clearance minimum we can have from the top of the drawer to the next obstruction on the top. Side clearance, which is important and is based on the drawer slides that you're using. So in this case, I'm using Bloom undermount soft close slides, and the side clearance is 5/16 of an inch on either side of the drawer. So it ends up being a total of 5/8. 5/16 on each side. And then the bottom clearance. The bottom clearance for these particular slides happens to be 9/16 of an inch minimum. So the other information that we have here is we're letting you put in various drawer slide information in this chart here. So the important part here is the minimum cabinet depth for this particular slide, because that's going to allow us to choose the appropriate drawer box length for the cabinet that you drew. So this is all in metric. It can be in regular imperial measurements as well. Don't forget, if you're ever putting in metric, that there's no space between the number and the mm. So this is saying, so here's our standard, for example, our standard 21-inch cabinet. What that's saying is that and this is straight out of the Bloom book, that the minimum cabinet depth that'll fit these slides is 557 millimeters. So that's basically from here, right at this point, the front of the cabinet box to where the back starts. Has to be a minimum of 557 millimeters for this slide to work properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that we're going to check what the maximum slide length that will fit in the box that you've drawn based on all this information in there. So when we're looking at this, 634 millimeters is, this box is not 634 millimeters deep, so it'll end up choosing this particular slide. And if we go across, what this other information is telling us, that if we're in CNC mode, that it gives us a front and a back and even a middle hole offset, and that's from the front of the drawer side. Sorry, the front of the cabinet side right here. So you'll see we've got a hole 37 millimeters back, and then we're going to end up with 261 millimeters for the middle hole and 517 millimeters for the back hole, and that is always from this front edge. All this information is in the Bloom book. We also have the manufacturer, the part number, a description, and most importantly, what drawer depth you want to use for that slide. So that's telling us how deep this drawer will be. So I'm going to go back to our project here and make sure that we're set on a CNC project so we can see how this works. But you can have as many different drawer slides in here as you want. if you're going to have two with the same minimum cabinet depth, it's only going to choose the first one it finds. So if you need to switch out partway through your project to a different 21-inch slide, maybe a side mount, you're going to have to change the information on this one and put a new one in. So this can, we've got a 9, a 12, a 15, an 18, a 21, a 24, a 27, and a 30-inch slide in this chart. And when we draw our cabinet, if we were to draw a cabinet that wasn't quite 21 inches deep, it would drop back down to the 18-inch. And you could force a smaller slide into a cabinet by simply removing, if I wanted to put a 15-inch slide in this particular cabinet, I would just remove the 21-inch and the 18-inch slide, or change this number over here to something very big temporarily, and then it would be forced to choose the 15-inch slide. So you can play some tricks with it like that. So let me just draw a cabinet here so you can see how this works, and then we'll create a cut list. So I'm going to grab my story stick tool over here and just draw this relatively simple cabinet. So we'll make this a right end opening, and then we're going to go over here somewhere, and we'll make this a left end panel, and that's all I'm going to do for this cabinet. And we'll select the drawer bag combo base just for kicks, and there we go. So if I turn off my drawer fronts, I can see these represented boxes in here. And if I double check use my tape tool and measure front to back, I get a 21-inch slide because this is a cabinet that is 22 3/16 deep on the inside, which meets our minimum. And if I look at the height, this one's 4 1/4, this one 8 1/4, and this one 10 1/4. So it's going to choose the largest box that can fit in this opening, and that is something I forgot to talk about. If we go back to our settings on drawers, that's what these drawer heights are. So I've put in an allowable drawer height of 10 1/4, 8 1/4, and 4 1/4, and it's going based on these clearances, the top clearance and the bottom clearance. It's going to choose a height that'll fit in here. If I had a 5 1/4-inch drawer listed for this, it wouldn't be able to choose it. It would drop down to the 4 1/4. Or if I put a 3 1/4 in here, that would also fit, but the 4 1/4 does as well. So it chooses the largest one that it can get to fit in there. So you can also play with things. I could change this just to a 3 1/4, and it wouldn't choose. Sorry, if I put this down to 3 1/4, it would just choose the 3 1/4. So you can play around with forcing different drawer heights that way. If I close this and turn off the drawer boxes themselves, we can see, because we're in CNC mode, that we get now 3 holes here. So we get a back, middle, and front hole, and we get that on both sides, and we also get it on this divider because it's a combo base. And that all corresponds to everything that was put in that chart. So if I choose this, if I just choose this cabinet and say CabWriter, select cabinet. Actually, first, in order to create a cut list, I need to make sure that all cabinets are numbered. So I'm going to renumber all cabinets. Now I'm going to select this cabinet, and I'm going to go up to File, CabWriter, Cut List Bridge, and export to, let's just say, Microsoft Excel. There's a whole video on exporting cut lists, so I'm not going to go too deep into this. But right now I've got a file that has been put into the folder that this model is in. So let's go find that. And that is going to be here. Video demos, and the name of it was testkitchen.csv. So it's a CSV file, which means it can be opened by Excel. There we go. So you'll notice I've got my normal rough lumber, my normal sheet goods, but I've also down here got something called other. And right now those others are my drawer boxes. So I've got a left drawer box, a right drawer box, and then my two bigger ones. So I got a thickness, width, and length. However, right now this width and length could be reversed because it's just going to pick the smallest number for the width. But what we really want, but in this case, the smaller number is the depth of the box, and here the depth of the box is ending up over here because it's 21-inch deep drawer box. But for the time being, over here is where we've got the actual height, width, and depth. So the height of this one's 4 1/4. The width is 12 37/64, which is somewhat odd number just because I chose a random spot to make that cabinet, to draw that cabinet, and the depth is 21. So, but over here you'll see that all the depths are correct at the 21 inches, and all the widths are correct here, and all the heights are correct. So you can use this information now to either do a parts list for your drawer, or if you're ordering your drawers, you can use this information to order it. If two drawers are the exact same size, they will not show up as a quantity 2 over here. They'll be listed separately. But if you sort by this column here, you'll be able to spot, like these two drawers right here, when they have identical measurements. And then you can order multiple of those. So that's all there is to drawing drawers. It's pretty straightforward. And again, just remember you're going to get a representation of the drawer box, not, notice there's nothing cut out of the middle of it. It's just a cube. All right, so have fun with drawer boxes.